Okay, so I'm gonna launch this game in 3, 2, 1, and here we are taking a look at this map in the top right, spawning as the red Protoss. He's made a switch away from pink. We have ZeNEXSuzy rocking that Suzy tag, and his opponent in the bottom right, we have MVPGuineaPig as a blue Protoss. Taking a look at this map, we see it's got horizontal symmetry, and as you mentioned, maybe won't come into play too much in this map, or in this matchup, but as you continue to drive towards that gold base at the 9 o'clock, you continue to go up and up and up, and this actually gives me a little bit of feel, kind of like Scrap Station. If I don't know if you can agree with that, but just a little bit. Hello, Orb. All right, so I'm not sure if Orb is here or not.
Oh, I'm sorry, my fault. They had me switch to push to talk because because there's some issues with this microphone. I totally forgot about it. Wasn't holding it down. Not used to that.
I thought you were like, no, I don't agree with that. I will not even continue to commentate with you.
I am on strike right now. Screw this map. No, I was saying it actually, yeah, it reminds me of, like, you know, that kind of similarity you have with like Paranoid Android back in Brood War, where you have this kind of close air position, just like on Scrap Station, but a longer ground rush distance. But on this map, you know, there is just one Zelnaga tower in the center. I feel like that's going to end up being really pivotal, though, simply because it does cover that like really huge main area that you're going to want to go with a ground army to engage, unless you are going for some type of air or Warp Prism play. And as you were saying before, you know, that could be really good on this map. So we might not end up getting to any type of late game scenario. But if we do, I'm really excited to see how this map's going to play out. I've heard that of the playtesters, this was like one of their favorite maps in the map contest.
I'm looking at the layout. I'm really liking it. You got this easy to defend natural with you got the two entrances, but they're both fairly small. They're choked off. You can defend it pretty well. Then you have to stretch out a little bit to take your third. You have the option of the high ground third or the low ground third, and you know, you're always marching towards this gold in the center. So you're always moving towards the you know, a common path, which makes a very exciting map, and you know, allows a lot of options for counterattack too, because you've got this high path controlled by the Zelnaga Watchtower, and you've got the low path controlled by the Zelnaga Watchtower. So it's easy to let your opponent push on one direction, counter push on the other direction. I would love to see a non-PvP here.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Hopefully, you know, we will get to enjoy that with the TVT, but you know, it could end up being a really awesome match in PvP as well. We'll have to basically see what are the strats going to be. Currently, we don't see a second gas coming up yet from Avenge, and that does worry me because usually that will signify that someone wants to stay in one base, go for something like a 4-gate plus Warp Prism, etc. Whereas Guineapig's getting a second gas, so he's going to be going for the tech play. Now, on this map, I'm very curious, you know, what's his choice going to be, because Blink could obviously be useful as it is on pretty much every map. But at the same time, you know, robo builds could just be a little bit more defensive, and we already see a forward pylon being put down for Avenge right above the base of Guineapig. So if he does get some units onto the upper ground, or if he gets like an observer up there, a Warp Prism, etc., or just, you know, runs some units past the ramp without a force field from Guineapig, then Guineapig could be in some serious trouble when those units start warping on the high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. If Guineapig just moved that Stalker up like a few little pixels, he would probably be able to spot that and bring it down with that Stalker fairly easily. But he's going to send the Stalker to scout for proxy pylons at his natural. Sending the Zealot around, he doesn't have vision of that, really. It's so close. Meanwhile, we had Guineapig steal the gas of Avenge, so he's going to know surely that that he's staying on two geysers, but he brings that assimilator down, puts one of his own, so not going for a 4-gate. Despite having the aggressive pylon, he's not trying to end it quickly. Just up at 2 gateways now with his Warp Gate about to finish. Looks like he wanted to build a third one, but immediately canceled it when he went to build it, so a little bit indecisive here.
Yeah, I guess he decided he wanted the second gas more, wanted to be able to apply just a little bit of pressure, but perhaps not go for the kill blow, as you said, but he's going to move forward now for the aggression. There is a sentry, though, for Guineapig, so without a Warp Prism, without an observer, as long as the force field is good from Guineapig, and there it is, perfect force field, then there shouldn't be any way Avenge can get up this this base. But the problem is, of course, this forces those extra sentries. The fact that he put on the pressure, I mean, if Guineapig had actually just, or excuse me, if Avenge had just sat in his base, another perfect force field. If he just sat in his base, you know, these sentries wouldn't have been warped in, and that would have been, you know, an earlier extra immortal, earlier extra observer, etc. So it is a good move for Avenge to make sure he's applying the pressure and forcing the force fields to go down, and it doesn't really cost him anything in return.
Right, absolutely. The one bad thing for Avenge here, which you may not be aware of, is that Guineapig has snuck out that probe early on, and he's got this proxy pylon sitting around the 12 o'clock. Meanwhile, we can take another beautiful force field isolating the Zealot. taking it out. We can take a look at the dynamic that's getting set up here. We have Guineapig going for very standard 2-gate into Robo, getting that Immortal out. Meanwhile, we have Avenge. Oh, I thought he was going to go 3-gate Blink, but no, he's going straight for Dark Shine, and that's not going to work out in his favor with this Robotics coming out. I hope he's got a backup plan, because if he goes DTs and it gets shut down, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's also going up to 4-gate.
Wow, yeah, this could be seriously troublesome for him, but at the same time, we don't have an Observer out from Guineapig. He's just pumping Immortals so far, and I'll probably make that Observer later on. But there are sometimes, things you can do with, with DTs that can just be really obnoxious. Like if your opponent moves out with their Observer, then you sneak it back into their main base, so you won't be completely, dead or anything like that.
Right, absolutely.
But, wow, actually nice scouting. I didn't even realize his probe at the top left happened to scout that pylon just at the edge of its vision. So now Avenge knows about that, be able to take out that forward pylon before the aggression from Guineapig gets here, and that will slow down Guineapig's attack.
Yeah, Guineapig going up to 4 gateways, continuing to bring out those Immortals. He's got 2 out now, and now he's going into the Warp Prism. So that'll be really interesting and exciting to see. Maybe he wants to bypass the wall, or maybe he just wants to do some harassment. Meanwhile, we have Avenge bringing his probe around all the way around the long way to the 6 o'clock, where he'll drop a proxy pylon, I'm going to imagine, so that he can get those DTs in very quickly. And we've got Guineapig quickly chasing Avenge's Zealots down, trying to get back to the ramp. We have 1 sentry here with 2 force fields available. DT's now out on the field. Proxy pylon not up yet. I wonder if Guineapig is smart enough that he's seen that. Can he see the blip as he's running back to his base very quickly? Take a look at the Robotics. Yes, chronoing out that Observer, so he should be able to hold this off. But he's going to be trapped in his base just a little bit. Some of those sentries going down.
Yeah, great reaction times there by Guineapig. As soon as he saw that blur, just started moving back before he even got attacked. Now, some of the sentries are going down, but he still has a couple alive, so he will be able to force field this ramp, keep himself alive against these DTs. Will he get the force field? Oh, nice force fields. Isolates that DT as well, so he can kill it as soon as that Observer popped out. And I feel like that puts Guineapig at a pretty big advantage right now. I mean, he's just, he's also got a Warp Prism right here below the base of Avenge, and Avenge's army is pretty far out of position at the 6 o'clock, so he could do a lot of damage, even with just a couple Zealots from that Warp Prism, and in the meantime, he can just continuously force field that ramp.
Yeah, and we see Avenge just uses Warp in, so if Guineapig goes in, let's take a look at these gateways. They are not ready for Warp in. One of them is Warp Prism going into phasing mode, and here we go, bringing in a bunch of Zealots to harass these probes. Avenge gonna have to counter, but he's dropping in a DT to try to deal with this, dropping in some Zealots to try to do anything he can, and there goes Guineapig loading up, just trying to disrupt. So this has gotten us into a very strange and unique situation, because Guineapig was trapped in his main base. He broke out with the Warp Prism, but Avenge has got that expansion started up. Meanwhile, he's got 5 gates in DT Tech. DT Tech not going to help him unless he switches over to Archons in the late game. And Guineapig continuing to just chrono out these Immortals. Not gotten an expansion up yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit shocking that he hasn't gone for that. There we go. Now the Nexus is going to go down for Guineapig here, but it is so far delayed from Suzy's, and I believe he has scouted. Oh my god, he hasn't scouted the Nexus. That is why. Even with his Warp Prism right there, he has not seen that. That is a really, really big problem for Guineapig. I mean, he's made Observers and a Warp Prism. He definitely needs to get that scouting in. Now he's going to... No, he's not. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong unit there. But he hasn't really been active with this Warp Prism ever since the DT defended. So that does actually end up putting Guineapig behind. He's ahead on food, but with the increased economy here for Avenge, I mean, he is at 32 probes against 30, but the critical thing is that he'll be able to double produce probes right now and have that those increased mineral patches to mine off of, and that will give Guineapig a pretty big disadvantage.
I think kind of the thrust and parry portion of the early game has been completed. We're moving into the mid game where players feel like they've gotten there safely, want to sit back, focus on their macro just a little bit. Let's take a look where we've arrived. Guineapig has added on that Twilight Council, continuing with 4-gate Robo, and clearly going to be getting either Blink or Charge. No, getting Charge out of that. That's a little bit surprising. Meanwhile, Avenge going to chrono out that Blink, so he's gone up to DT Tech. He's also added a Robo. He's got 5 gateways, and as you mentioned, Orb, he critically got that expansion up quicker. Looking at the income tab, he's almost got double the income of Guineapig. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism moving into the main base, doing a little bit more harassment. You've got to get the value out of that Warp Prism if you've invested in it. Don't want to lose the Zealots. Just run in, be annoying, and that can frustrate a player all game. And look at this, it's actually forcing Avenge to leave 3 Zealots in his main probe line. That's 3 Zealots you're not going to have to fight.
Yeah, that's a great move. I mean, when you really think about it, just having those stuck back at home, it looks like he's just going to try to put on a little bit of pressure since he does have Blink, so it can just be a little bit aggressive with these Stalkers, poke in, get an eye on the unit composition of his opponent, and then just, you know, blink right back out. Oh, a couple Zealots from Avenge, a little bit out of position here at the 6 o'clock. You might even try to bait this army out of position with them, but it looks like Guineapig too smart, just going to send a couple units after them, leave the rest of his army in position, but some Stalkers actually blinking to the main right now. They're going to be able to kill off just a couple probes here of Guinea Pigs. They also see the entire tech. They're going to see that Templar Archives and the fact that the Twilight's being Chronos. That should let them know that Charged Out Archon is going to be the composition of choice, and that actually could be a great composition here for Guinea Pig, because he also has a heavy immortal count, 5 immortals right now.
Right.
When you do have those immortals in the back of your army when you go Charged Out Archon, it adds so much utility, because you can then be, you know, just dealing an insane amount of bonus damage to armor when your opponent has Blink Stalkers or Colossi.
And we see that Avenge is trying to counter this by getting immortals of his own. He's actually started producing a lot of Archons. He's got 2 in his natural now, with a lot of Zealots as well. That was a nice little move that we saw there from Avenge, to try to bring Guinea Pig to the western side of his natural and then blink in and start doing harassment. And the scouting can't be understated, as you mentioned there. Now we've got some skirmishes going on in the mid, Blink versus non-Blink. Avenge clearly going to have the advantage there, blinking away, but he probably could have done a little bit of damage, not worth the risk. The immortal count is getting just out of hand for Guinea Pig here, as he's up to 6. Is he continuing to produce them? No, he's taking a little bit of a break. He's also completed that Templar Archives, not starting on Psystorm. He's just got the Archons on yet now, and I'm wondering who's going to take... Oh, meanwhile in the natural, we've got some more harassment going on. These Zealots being worth so much. A lot of probes missing there. Not sure if they're dead or they were mainerded away, but now going back into the main base to try to do some harassment with this War Prism, and that is just doing so much damage and being so annoying for Avenge to deal with.
Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, because looking at the income tab, it's still 43 Harvesters to 37, so Guinea Pig, while he is doing a great bit of damage with that War Prism and keeping his opponent contained, you know, he's still behind our workers, and I feel like maybe he should have used that, you know, like to contain his opponent, keep him at home while taking a quick third, something like that, because right now it's like he's just trying to produce probes and catch up in a game where he's already behind and just going to be perpetually behind unless he can do just quite a bit more damage. He's trying to warp in more Zealots or just use that War Prism as effectively as possible, but currently the defenses of Avenge have been pretty good. It looks like a couple charge slots, though, that have been warped in from Guinea Pig. He can do quite a bit of damage with these 6 in here now. At the same time, of course, DTs from Suzy, excuse me, Avenge in the main base of Guinea Pig doing quite a bit of damage of their own.
And actually, they're causing a lot of grief because Guinea Pig starts attacking his own Nexus. Observer going out, going to catch the Observer and the DT of Avenge. More harassment going on in the main base from Guinea Pig, dropping off those Zealots yet again, going to load them up. Oh my god, he's got to get over there and blink and deal with that War Prism, I believe. I'm wondering, where's this game going to go from now? Are they going to build off 2 base and then crash into each other? I think if anyone's going to take a 3rd base first, it's probably going to be Avenge, but he doesn't look like he's gearing up for that. He's just making tons of units, cranking them out, continuing to make Archons now. He's got a pretty beefy army if you look at what he's got compared to what he's going to be fighting Guinea Pig with.
Yeah, I'm actually, it's really unfortunate that, you know, the Templar Archives was unable to be taken out. I mean, obviously, we would have been able to still make Archons with those DTs, but it can really, you know, remove the efficiency from your opponent's production. Right. He had it so low, so Guinea Pig's so close, so it looks like he's going to go in for the drop yet again. Only 1 Zealot actually in position here from Avenge. No DTs either. A couple Zealots going to be warped in. It looks like they're rallying onto that Templar Archive, so he will take that out. And that could be a great blow, but you know what's really worrying me about Avenge's play is that despite him being up so many Harvesters, he's up 9 right now, he's actually only up by 3 on food. So somehow, despite, you know, the fact that he's been up on economy this entire game almost, you know, Guinea Pig's actually managing somehow to stay even with him. So I don't know, maybe Avenge's macro just slipping a little bit here.
You know, I think Avenge has been losing so many probes that he's spending so much money replacing them that, yeah, he's ending up with more Harvesters, but it's actually ending up to being a wash. Look at the army tab. We can see that, yeah, as you mentioned, he's got 9 more food now, but the values are pretty much even, and actually Guinea Pig's got more gas in his army. They're now looking menacingly at each other, and here we go. This may be the engagement that ends the game. Guardian Shield popped for Avenge, but he's not going to commit, just waiting for Guinea Pig to dance back and forth before choosing where he wants to fight.
Yeah, this could be a bad situation for Guinea Pig. He just can't get a good position because Avenge has this beautiful arc set up, and these choke points on this map are just really restricting him. So, you know, using this offensive posture to expand behind it might work out really well for him, but just trying to, you know, brute force his way in might not work that well, but he's going to go for it anyways. Charge Law streaming around, Archons in the front for Guinea Pig. A couple Force Fields going down, trying to isolate those Immortals, but unfortunately not being too successful to them. Are walking in the back, though, so a better position from Avenge. Will that be enough, though, to carry him through in this engagement?
Got a lot of Immortals left over for both players. Going to try to wind this down. Meanwhile, he's got the Warp Prism so he can warp in more units. Guineapig is. It looks like Avenge is coming out ahead, but with the Immortals left, he'll be able to crank down these Stalkers so quickly, trying to focus down the Stalkers, not the Immortals. More Zealots being warped in. This is a crazy back and forth blow. Both players having +1 here. And it looks like at the end of the day, it's going to be a wash. Maybe a bit of an advantage for Guineapig. He's going to charge over to the third base to find nothing there. He's got the Warp Prism to reinforce even more if he chooses to do it. And he's got aggression on his mind. Meanwhile, a few more DTs being morphed into an Archon, as that Templar Archives for Avenge was not replaced. So that's going to be a bad thing, because that's not as efficient as warping in those High Templar to make the Archons. But you do need it. And it seems like neither player at this point has expanding on their minds. They're just going to continue to crash at each other until their naturals are all but mined out.
It does seem that way from now. I got a question though. You know, we actually saw a couple more Stalkers being warped in there from Avenge. Now he does need that anti-air utility, so he can go ahead and take out that Warp Prism, of course. And having that blink does make him, you know, a little bit more attractive to actually make those Stalkers. But at the same time, when you're up against a charge slot Immortal Archon composition, Stalkers are kind of like the last thing you're going to want in your army. So you know, Avenge does have to be very, very careful with the unit composition he's creating. It looks like he is just going to stay at a couple Stalkers and mostly warp in those Zealots and Archons. But the upgrade advantage is going to go to Avenge here. That's the critical advantage he has, is that +2 only has 15 seconds left, whereas for Guineapig, he's got 120 seconds left. So it's like almost a 2-minute timing window that Avenge could attack and have a nice little advantage over Guineapig. But the question is going to be, will he utilize that? It doesn't look like it, because we already see a third base going down for Avenge.
And that's a pretty big investment, especially Orb, because he's putting that Templar Archives down yet again. So, you know, that's 600 minerals that's not going to be in his army. Yes, he wants to get up to those Archons yet again, warping those High Templar to get him in, but I'm not sure if he should have done it simultaneously. We see 4 Archons in the army for Guineapig. Meanwhile, taking a look at Avenges, he's got 4 in there yet again. Moving in to try to deal with this Warp Prism, as the Warp Prism is dancing back and forth, seeing that pylon and then pulling back. Looks like it wants to be part of the army, or does it want to harass? Both options available. Guineapig is driving straight to cut the third and natural of Avenge in half. If he can drive a line in there and then get access to the third, he can break it and win the game easily. He is in phasing mode, so looks like he's poking for a battle, dancing back and forth. He wants his Observer to get in there to get a full scout. Gonna push back first.
Yeah, it looks like he wasn't able to actually get the scout off. Did get that Observer killed off. Will he go for the engagement? Oh, it looks like Avenge almost engaging. Not quite. He's waiting for +2, so Guineapig does have +2 now, so Avenge unfortunately has missed his timing with his upgrade advantage. Now they're engaging with equal upgrades, but the charge lots from Guineapig are stuck behind his units just a little bit, giving a slight advantage to Avenge, but of course Guineapig does have the food advantage, and look at that. A huge advantage now. Guineapig with his Zealots surrounding the Immortals. You really don't want to have those Zealots on those Immortals from the Immortals' perspective, of course. And now with that huge advantage, Guineapig looks like he'll be able to possibly take out that Nexus. We'll be able to take out those DTs as his next Observer arrives. And oh, it looks like that was a big mistake. There's the GGO. Unfortunately for Avenge, taking that third base may have been his downfall.
What a beautiful play by Guineapig, taking out the Archons of Avenge so that his charge lots could get in there, surround the Immortals, and then everything just fell so quickly. Taking a look at the army size at the end of the game, we've got 44 for Avenge and 88 for Guineapig. So he just steamrolled through an even food, even upgrade battle there. Just superb play by him. And I love, even though I think we can agree he was down a little bit going into the mid game, I love that Warp Prism dancing back and forth. Just, it's so annoying, and you can't understate not even how much economic damage that is, but how much, you know, focus and how much annoyance you're causing, how much focus you're taking away from your player. He's got to always leave units behind. It's always bothering him. He's always looking over there, and that just frees up so much map space for you to do whatever you want, and that's what Guineapig took advantage of there in game number 2.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of players, I think, you know, undervalue, those types of mind games where it's like, you know, your opponent does have a limited APM. They do have a limited amount of multitasking. If you're using that up with your opponent by being really aggressive with a Warp Prism, you can force your opponent to make mistakes. Whereas, you know, if you're not applying pressure and you're just kind of turtling back into playing defensively, your opponent is just so much more free to play the way they want to play. So, oh god, now I'm having trouble remembering since it was a mirror match. Is that a 2-0 now?
Yes, I think Guineapig took that 2-0, and we'll see him in the finals.
Well, congratulations to him. That means we'll be moving on, of course, to our TVT semifinal between Noblesse and TLAF.
And it looks like we're going to be back on the same map, and I like that because now we can see how this game plays in a PvP where you're bypassing the terrain, and in a TVT where, you know, it's more tactically set up. So we're going to be brought back to Is Ohana, not Omaha?
I think it's Ohana, yeah.
Ohana.
So, yeah, Ohana and a TVT, man. It is a 2-player map. You do have to worry about the possibility of, like, proxies. But if we get into a legit macro game on here, I think this could be a fantastic map to watch a TVT on.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the 2 Zelnaga Watchtowers just controlling the center, and then tons of room to flank around on the east and west. So a lot of room to bypass a player who's trying to just set up and control space with Terran Mech, giving a lot of options to if you want to play Bio or Mech or just that Marine tank style. So going to be very interested to see what's going on. I believe, Orb, if you're ready, we're going to throw it to a commercial, waiting for confirmation from Hotbit on that. And if we do, we'll be back with series number 2. No, we will not be doing that. We'll be going to series number 2 right now.